Hello and welcome to my channel again. Today we have Vauxhall Astra 2013, and the car came this morning to our garage, and the customer is complaining that the car is misfiring, the engine is misfiring, and the engine management light on the dashboard is flashing. So I think the vehicle is equipped with 1.6 petrol engine, and let's see and start the engine. So I'm going to start the engine. So I've just started the engine. As you can see, the engine management light has started flashing, and I'm going to show you engine vibration or shaking the engine. So if I'm not sure because the camera stabilization may prevent the engine shaking to be shown on the camera, but the engine is shaking. As you can see, the engine is shaking. I'm not sure if the camera can detect the engine vibration. As you can see, the engine is shaking. So I'm going to scan the vehicle and see what fault code can we have for this misfiring. So as you can see, the engine management light is flashing. So I'm going to turn the engine off, because this engine management light flashing means that the catalytic converter is dangerous, that's going to be damaged. So I'm going to turn the ignition off and then scan the vehicle that what fault code can we have. So ignition is off and on again. So I'm going to select who to detect. Yes, it's Astra J 2013. Yes. PC. Okay, engine misfire detected. Let's go to the freeze frame data. Okay. So I'm distance calculation. So I'm going to go back and back again. So I'm going to select live data. So I'm going to select engine data. So this is not going to tell you the misfire or the misfiring history. So I'm going to select misfire data. So I'm going to start the engine. So as you can see, random misfire occurred. So cylinder 1 counter misfire, cylinder 1 current misfire counter is that much, blah blah. So I'm going to start the engine and watch. So as you can see, cylinder number 1 is misfiring. As you can see, it's misfiring cylinder number 1, and the rest 3 are okay. As you can see, this one is misfiring, and also the engine speed is also rough. The idling speed is rough and irregular. So I'm going to investigate cylinder number 1 misfiring. So first I'm going to remove the coil pack, and then I'm going to inspect the spark plug and see if the spark plug condition is okay. This is the very quick and easiest way to do it, because we have got now a clue. So the scanner has led us or has guided us to that the misfiring is occurring in cylinder number one. So we are going to investigate further whether it's the ignition coil, spark plug, or voltage supply to the ignition coil, ground to the ignition coil, control wire of the ignition coil, or compression issue, either fuel issue, whether the injector is leaking, blockage, or something like that. We are going to investigate. So the easy way is that to remove the spark plug and inspect that if that can be seen whether the engine is cylinder is running, cylinder number 1 is running too rich, too lean, or even not firing at all too. I'm going to turn the ignition off, and I'm going to remove the spark plug of number 1 cylinder and see what's going on there. So this is the ignition coil pack. So I'm going to remove that. So to remove that, you need to disconnect this first, then as you can see the arrow here, that was like so here, and then you push that to the left side of the engine and remove this. I think it's going to be a T40 or Torx 40. So I'm going to disconnect this first. Okay, as you can see, T40. This is cylinder number 1. The spark plug condition, I think it's neither lean or reach. It's okay, it's in good condition. So let me put that here, and if you can see that here, see, it sees it's in good condition. It means that the mixture is neither lean or reach. So I think, so I'm not sure because I don't have the wiring diagram here. So the easy way to check the spark plug for its short condition, so just connect one lead to the outer side of this electrode and the other lead of the multimeter to the center electrode and see for the continuity. So this has an open circuit, which is good. So the even you can check here as well, so like so, as you can see here. So here and here, and that should give you open circuit. And also if I remove this one and put that here, and you will see that's so. This is the resistance of the center electrode, 5.2 kilo ohms, and with the outer electrode or to the ground or body of the spark plug, it's open circuit. As you can see, this is clamped on the center electrode, and this is the body. As you can see, it's open circuit. So with the center electrode, so I'm going to, as you can see, it's 5.2 kilo ohms. The spark plug is okay, the spark plug is all right. So I'm going to put that back and find the control wire of the cylinder number 1 coil, and then I'm going to check that with the scope meter. So I'm going to see whether the magnetic field is building or not, and whether the primary circuit is okay, the supply voltage, or the primary circuit. And then, because on this one the secondary circuit cannot be checked, the resistance of that, so only primary circuit can be checked. Okay, to have access to the back of the connector for this particular vehicle, you need to just pry up this one, this little bit, like so. Like so, and then remove this one like so. So then you have access to the back of the connector, so you can back probe all of them. So yeah, this is, so I'm going to find number 1 control wire and see what the number 1 coil is acting or doing. So I'm going to put that connector on. I have put the connector on. So now I'm going to bring and connect the scope lead to it, and then show you the scope screen to you, the scope meter screen to you. Okay, so we checked the number 1 cylinder spark plugs for any shortages between the 2 electrodes, the outer electrode and the center electrode. So now the spark plug was okay, and also we checked the resistance of the spark plug as well, but it's not, the specification is unknown for the spark plug resistance. So now I'm going to check the ignition coil pack current flow to the primary circuit of that. So this is the feed, for the all 4-cylinder ignition coils, and the second one is the ground circuit, and also this one is ground as well, the third one. So the rest 4, which is start from, this is A, so supply voltage to the ignition primary circuit or primary coil, and this is ground. The third one is also ground, so A, B, C, so D, E, F, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the 4 are the ignition coils for each cylinder switching on and off function. So this 4. So now I'm going to start the engine and I'm going to show you the current rampage or current flow waveform going to the ignition primary coil or primary circuit. So I'm going to, so as you can see, ignition is off. Now I'm going to start the engine. So I've started the engine. So as you can see, this is a multiple current rampages. So the ignition primary circuit is being charged so several times, each of them. So as you can see, the current rampage is not that much, but so I'm going to decrease the time base little bit, and you will be able to see better. So to decrease the time base, I'm going to as you can see now better. So this coil is fed several times. Each time the coil is energized, the primary ignition coil is energized. So as you can see, so let me decrease the time base little bit more. So as you can see now, so once the current flows here and then back to 0 and then again second time, so for better performance or to burn off the fuel air mixture properly, as you can see here. So now I'm going to freeze that. Okay, as you can see, the current rampages to the primary circuit of the ignition coil is not bad. So this is each time when the ignition primary circuit is fed, so this is 2 times once and 2 times in each cycle. So the total duration which the primary circuit of the ignition coil is fed 5.26 milliseconds. So in this period, so the coil is, the primary circuit coil is energizing and de-energizing twice. So it means that the spark plug fires for each cylinder twice. So as you can see here, once the current goes to the primary winding of the ignition coil and then collapses here and fires the spark plug, and then again for the second time. So the current goes through the primary circuit of the ignition coil and collapses again. So for each cycle the spark plug fires 2 times for better performance of the combustion chamber. So that's going to burn out completely the fuel air mixture. So as we check, we didn't have that much difference in the current flow rampages between the 4 of them. So I'm going to go back to the live data or live event, and I'm going to show you. So so back to live event, and I'm going to increase the time base little bit, that 4 of the ignition primary circuit current wave pattern can be placed on that, as you can see now. So as you can see now, I think the engine has reached to its operating temperature, and the primary circuit, the ignition coil primary circuit current flow wave pattern has changed. As you can see, it's now single wave pattern of the current flow to each ignition primary circuit. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that proves that the ignition primary circuit is switching on and off properly. There is no problem. And also, as you can see, the current rampages peak to peak is even approximately 90%. But as you can see, the engine is still shaking and it's vibrating. So let me you might be able to see the engine is shaking. So because this is very difficult to check the ignition coil, ignition secondary coil wave pattern, but I'm trying to find the way that I'm going to check and show you that to you. Okay, as you can see, I have connected 4 of the ignition coil secondary voltage output to the ground here, as you can see, and this is the black lead which is connected directly to the battery positive over there. So that's over there. This is the lead, and so now I'm going to crank the engine. Hopefully you will be able to see the spark jumping from the this high tension lead of the ignition coil to this jumper wire. So I'm going to crank the engine. Okay, at the same time, this is good opportunity to replace the spark plugs too. So this is the old spark plugs which I have removed. The condition is not that much bad if you see from the point of symptom that there is. So the engine is running good with the air and the fuel mixture. If you consider air and fuel mixture, it's not much rich or either not too lean. So I'm going to replace the spark plugs too. Okay, this is the new coil pack, new ignition coil pack. So I'm going to replace that. Let me unpack this and see. Coil pack. This bloody. This is the coil pack. I'm going to unpack it. Okay, this is the coil pack, as you can see, and this is the wiring connector, as you can see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 pins in it. The only difference is because that one is white color and this one is like this. So I'm going to put that, and so this is the new one. This is going to replace this one. Okay, now I'm going to start the engine, and then I will be showing you the live data, the misfiring data on scanner. Okay, as you can see, I have started the engine, and engine is running very smooth. Now I'm going to take you to the misfiring data through the scan tube. Okay, this is the trouble code that we had, and DTC history status history since. So now I'm going to clear that the fault. I'm going to clear the fault code. So I'm going to clear the fault code. So no fault code. And now, so I have cleared or erased the fault code. Now I'm going to go. So I'm going to go to Misfire data. So as you can see previously, when the coil pack was not changed, so the misfire was occurring here at cylinder number 1. As you can see now, no misfiring is occurring in cylinder 1, 2, 3 or 4 either, and as you can see the history is 0, and that was another repair we have fixed. P0300 for this vehicle, Vauxhall Astra 1.6. I think the engine code is I cannot remember, but anyway, when I was uploading the video, I'm going to put that on the video because I cannot remember the engine code right now. So we saw that the current was going properly to the ignition coil primary circuit, and the current, the magnetic field was building. There wasn't problem in the primary circuit or in the primary winding of the ignition coil, but as we as we saw that the secondary winding was at fault, so the coil or unit, or this is actually a whole pack, but the coil number 1 or responsible for cylinder number 1, it was not giving any output for the spark plug to ignite the air fuel mixture, or there was no output voltage to ignite the fuel air mixture through the spark plug. So thanks for watching.